All right, let's get right into it. Today we're taking on a really cool mission. We're going to build an automated pipeline for a security operations center, a SOC. Think of it as taking an old, slow manual process and turbocharging it with automation. This is a game changer, so let's dive in.
So, just to set the stage, picture this. On one side, you've got your traditional SOC. It's a world of manual triage, slow responses, and honestly, a lot of analyst burnout. They're just buried in alerts. But on the other side, that's where we're headed. A modern SOC with an automated workflow, lightning-fast reactions, and a defense that's actually proactive. The difference is, well, it's night and day.
Here's our game plan for this project. First, we're going to talk about why the old way is broken. Then we'll get our official mission to automate everything. The main event will be actually building the pipeline, piece by piece. After that, we'll talk about how to show off your awesome work, and we'll finish up by looking at what all this means for the security analyst of the future.
Okay, Section 1. Let's talk about the problem with manual security. The biggest issue is something called alert fatigue. When you have analysts getting thousands of notifications a day, they just get numb to it. And this directly impacts a super important metric called mean time to respond, or MTTR. A high MTTR is bad news. It means a threat is just sitting in your network longer, with more time to do serious damage. In security, every single second counts.
And this quote right here, it really hits the nail on the head. It's a totally different mindset. A traditional SOIC is all about detection, but a modern SOC, it's about action. It doesn't just spot a problem, it instantly reacts, it reports on what happened, and then it learns from that event so it gets even smarter. It's a full-circle, self-improving defense system.
So, let's talk about our mission. And I want you to frame this like a real-world project. Imagine you're an intern who's just joined the SOC automation team. The CISO, the big boss of security, has just handed you a top priority directive. This isn't just a busy work task, it's critical.
And there it is, your official assignment. Your job is to build a system that can spot those common, repetitive security events. Think stuff like brute force login attempts, and automatically create tickets for them. No human needs to touch it until it's a real, verified issue. This is where you get to be the hero.
So what does this automated workflow actually look like from a high level? Well, it all starts with data sources, logs coming in from everywhere. That data gets fed into a SIEM, which is kind of the brain that looks for patterns. Then, and this is a key part, our enrichment engine adds context. Finally, the system automatically fires off a ticket to an analyst. That's the pipeline we're about to build.
And that brings us to the main event, building this thing. We're going to break it down into a 5-step gauntlet. Don't worry, each step is totally manageable. And when we're done, we'll have a fully working end-to-end automation pipeline. Let's get to it.
First up, we've got to build the detection engine. This is where it all begins. It's our first line of defense, the thing that actually kicks off the whole automated process.
The whole point of this engine is to find the signal in the noise. We're looking for specific things like brute force attacks or known malware. For our project, the deliverable is a Python script. We'll call it Detection Engine Py. And its only job is to spit out a clean JSON file of potential alerts. That file is what kicks off everything else.
Okay, on to step 2, the enrichment engine. An alert by itself is, well, it's just a piece of data. It tells you what happened, but it doesn't tell you why you should care. This next step is where we add that crucial context.
So we'll build another script, enrichmentengine.py, and its job is to take each alert and check it against open source intelligence feeds. Places like VirusTotal or AbuseIPDB. This takes our basic alerts and turns them into enriched alerts.json, a file that's now packed with useful info and analysts can actually work with. So now we've got these really rich contextual alerts. That's great, but we might have hundreds of them. So step 3 is all about prioritization and scoring. This is really the brains of the whole operation. This module is what decides what's on fire and what can wait. It looks at a few things. How important is the computer or server that's affected? What's the reputation of the suspicious IP address? Based on that, it assigns a severity score, from critical all the way down to low. This makes sure our human analysts are always working on the most important stuff first.
All right, our alerts are sorted by priority. It's time to take action. This is where the system stops just thinking and starts doing. We're moving from analysis to an automated response.
The goal here is simple. For any alert that we scored as high or critical, we're going to automatically create a ticket for it. We'll use a script, ticketsautocreate.py, to do this. It doesn't really matter how it does it. It could write to a file or call an API. The point is, an actionable task is now officially in the queue for an analyst to investigate.
So we've built this incredible automation machine. It's working, it's efficient, but how do we prove it? How do we show everyone how awesome it is? That brings us to the final and maybe most important step, the dashboard. This is where you get to show off. You use a tool, could be anything from Power BI to a simple Excel chart, to visualize your success. You want to show the total number of alerts, how many tickets your system created, and, this is the big one, how much you've improved the resolution time. A single dashboard can prove the value of your entire project.
So the pipeline is built. Awesome. But you're not done yet. Now you have to show everyone its value. Especially if you're an intern or new to the team, being able to present your work effectively is how you really make an impact.
And you're going to prove it with cold, hard data. We're talking clear metrics. Mean time to acknowledge and mean time to resolve show just how much faster things are. Tracking the false positive rate shows how much more accurate you are. And the big one is automation coverage. That's the percentage of boring manual tasks you've completely eliminated. That's a huge win.
Now, if this were a real project for an internship, this is pretty much how you'd be judged. And look closely. The biggest piece of the pie, 30%, is for the end-to-end flow. Does it all actually work together? But also notice that documentation and presentation are worth 15%. Building it is half the battle. Being able to explain it is the other half. Okay, let's wrap this up by talking about what this all means for you, the analyst. Because finishing a project like this does more than just teach you a few new skills. It completely transforms your role and your career path. By completing this project, you've pretty much unlocked a new achievement. You're not just an analyst anymore. You're a SOC automation architect. You've proven you can build a whole workflow from scratch. You can demonstrate real automation, and you can use metrics to show your value. Trust me, these are some of the hottest skills in cybersecurity right now.
And all this leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. If we let the machines handle all the boring, repetitive work of sifting through alerts, what does that leave for us humans? Where can our creativity, our intuition, and our expertise make the biggest impact? That right there is the exciting future that this kind of automation unlocks.